What's up, YouTube? My name's Isaiah Rivera. I jump really high. This is John. He coaches me to jump really high.
Hello.
And today we're going to be talking about the continuum of specificity.
It's a beautiful graph. I just erased what I drew yesterday. It's all right. It's a beautiful thing. Before we do that, make sure you go to THPstrength.com and sign up for coaching if you're interested in getting coached by the highest jumper in the world and his coach of 7 years.
Use the code THP for 10% off.
Perfect. Also, if you're gonna sign up for 1 month and back off, just don't.
Actually, let's tell them. All right.
Just don't.
If you're someone that doesn't lie awake at night thinking of dunking, don't sign up because I don't want to coach you.
Yeah, it's the worst. Okay, anyways, don't get our hopes up and then only to be crushed. So this is the continuum of specificity. I use this every single time I am writing training, whether it is for a sprinter, a football player, a basketball player, Isaiah, whatever it is, right? In this specific example, I've put at the very far end, that's your goal if you wanted to do this for any sport. So we would put a 45-inch vertical off one because that's my goal. For Isaiah, it would be 51-inch vertical. And then over here on the other side of the continuum, we have things that are less specific, meaning they mimic the thing that we want to do, whether physiologically, biomechanically, in terms of kinetics and kinematics, less, right? So, or I guess more or less. So if it mimics it a lot in any of those ways, then it is very specific and it would fall further down this continuum. If it mimics it less in any of those ways, then it falls to the left or further away, meaning it will have less transfer to your given output. So if you ever heard of the book Bondarchuk wrote?
I have heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard that name.
You know who Bondarchuk is? Famous guy. Anyways, this Russian guy, I think he's Russian. Anyways, his name's Bondarchuk. He basically was a shot put coach, and he wanted to know how well certain training transferred to his sport. So what he did is he basically made a correlation graph for different athletes and different activities. So if you were a shot putter, he would say, look, you throw the 16-pound shot, but how well does that correlate to you throwing
Is this the book that you bought?
Yeah. Yep, transfer training. Yep. A 14-pound shot or a 10-pound shot or an 8-pound shot or a 6-pound shot. How does that compare to a clean? And he made this massive chart and showed all of the correlational data. And it was basically based off of this, right? That is essentially what he was trying to figure out is how are these exercises, how specific are they, right? How much do these two things correlate? And correlational data is not perfect, right? Correlational data is to say, technically, ice cream sales and crime go up, in terms of a correlational data. Well, the real reason why is because of heat. In the summer, right, people want to eat ice cream, and that's also when crime is its worst because it's warm outside. A lot of people aren't going to rob a bank when it's snowing. It's going to be hard to get away. So this is not perfect, or I guess his book, this is perfect, but his book is not perfect because of that, although it does offer some insight into what this is, right? And so on the left side, you'll see general volume, which I talked a little bit about yesterday in my video. But basically, this is the stuff I put I always say like swimming to dunk, right? And people are always like, well, what do you mean swimming to dunk? And I'm like, the least specific thing you can do is this, right? But it still offers value on this specificity continuum because of the 5 biomotor capacities. Isaiah, what are the 5 biomotor capacities? Tell the viewers.
Coordination,
That's
flexibility, endurance, strength, speed.
You got them all. All right, so power falls.
I was just making a script about this like 5 minutes ago.
Oh, I'm really proud of you. Austin, why do you look like Clark Kent? Why are you dressed that way? Austin, step into the frame. Austin just showed up. This is what he's wearing.
Oh, goodness.
Say hi to the viewers.
Hey.
Anything you'd like to add?
Yeah. Have you ever seen the movie Pretty Woman? Where the girl goes into the store looking like a homeless woman, but she's actually rich and they wouldn't service her. I wanted to do a social experiment today and see if people would treat me differently if my hair wasn't messy and I was covered in tattoos. So I wanted to see, I'm calling this my Clark Kent alter ego, ironically. So we're trying it out for the day. I don't know why. I got bored. So here we go.
Every day is a holiday with the THP team. You never know what you're gonna get. Do you want to be in this video? You want to hop in?
Sure.
All right.
I wasn't really expecting my hair to be on camera.
All right. You can zoom out a little bit, I suppose. You could just zoom a little bit. Oh, that's the wrong way. There you go. All right. So.
I honestly forgot.
That's good. That should be good. All right. We're talking about specificity. We went over this. We talked about swimming. So when we talk about, careful. Don't keep that too close to your mouth. He's very sick. or you can put it in your mouth. It's up to you. Dealer's choice.
You're my friend.
Okay, so
we all get sick.
yeah, I feel it coming on. Swimming helps endurance, right? You would agree if I said go out and swim for, we were talking about the 5 biomotor capacities since you came into this, and I'm saying one understanding or something that I was taught really early on is that every biomotor capacity really is important, meaning you can't just be like, you want to be well-rounded. If you're less well-rounded, your genetic ceiling is lower, and so it's very important to make sure that you address each of those biomotor capacities. Endurance, for example, is less, out of those biomotor capacities, is less endurance for dunking, right? So if we were to have like a madman football player or something like that, right, and we had those 5 biomotor capacities, we'll just, I don't know, I'll put it over here. Endurance is like, what do you think endurance is in terms of 1 to 10, how important it is?
I would say a 1. Actually,
We'll say a 1 for the sake of simpleness.
okay.
Let's say a 2.
I would say a 2 if you want to have long dunk sessions.
Okay, all right. And then what do you think speed? What about speed?
I would say, are we talking about the speed of the muscle contracting
Could
and
be,
jump?
it's so many variables. Try to lump them all together and generally just
7.
answer how important speed is, right? I'd say 8. I'd say 8.
Depends if you're 1 foot or 2.
It does. But we're just going to say 7 to 8, but I'm going to put 8 because it feels right. We don't have data to support this. You're in the shot.
I don't think I'm meant to be.
And then we have strength. How important do you think strength is?
8.
For 2 foot?
9.
For 1 foot?
7.
All right, so let's say, what do you think, 8.5?
8.5.
8.5. All right, and then we have coordination. What do you think that is? 10.
10.
Oh, I'm glad we're all on the same page. And we need flexibility. I'll just put FLX. What do you think that one is? 1 to 10.
4.
I actually think 10.
I don't think it's a 10.
I don't think so.
If you're talking,
You're not a gymnast. You don't need to be gymnast flexible.
but think about for a 2-foot jumper. Well, are we talking the flexibility?
I'm talking about if 10 is a gymnast and 1 is me.
Oh, I thought you meant like. Okay.
No, 1 is requirements to be a good dunker, right? If 10 is the requirement, like you need like 10
I see.
The better, the more flexible you are, the better you're going to be as a dunker.
Uh,
I'd say it's
a
like
5.
5. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. 4 to 6 is what I was thinking actually, right? So what this basically tells us, our needs analysis. Where do we need to spend most of our time? Well, obviously you would say you need to spend a lot of time on speed, strength, coordination, and less time on flexibility and endurance, right? So how does this play into this specificity continuum? Is it tells you, right, how you can identify where certain exercises fall and what their purposes are. So if we are looking at general volume, right, you see this whole course or upper body circuit that I drew, right? That is to address endurance. Endurance is a 2, right? It's a 2 or 3. Maybe one other thing we didn't include is body composition, but that can play a role into your coordination. So it can also play a role into your speed or strength and your power output. So you do need a level of endurance, right? Whether it's as a byproduct of what you're doing here, or it's because you're trying to have longer sessions or you're able to recover better. One thing a lot of people don't think of is if you have better endurance, you recover better from strength sessions. So that's also a benefit to you. Also, you're chopping off his head. No one can see Isaiah. There you are.
We can trade.
No, it's okay. I'm a little.
And then as you go further down this continuum, you'll see, right, like as you see this kind of trend of these 3 things being really, really important, right, squatting is still relatively specific. So that's because it's going to help you a decent amount as a 2-foot jumper, right? On this is technically a 1-foot graph, but even for that it helps. Let's say it is 2 foot. We'll even go as far to say this is 50.5. We'll say 50-inch vertical off 2. Squatting is probably moving down that continuum, right? So now you're going to notice that things that are more specific are going to have a better transfer to training. They're going to mimic the activity you want to do more. And when you have high specificity, you have a specific adaptation to impose demands. You're loading that thing, you're stressing that system, and then you're going to improve at whatever it is that you're stressing.
Wow, you said the hell out of that principle.
I sure did. Is that a bad thing?
No, it was a pun.
Oh, I get it. I was like, are you saying I'm being wordy?
I look as smart as you are. If I can't be as smart as you, I will look smarter than you.
Wait, how long is this podcast right now?
Proud of that.
That was good. Where are we at? Where are we at in terms of time here?
10 minutes.
All right. I feel like, yeah, we're good. That was a good intro.
Wait, can I ask you one question?
Yeah,
Me, him, or
take the
who?
dirty one. Take the sickened one.
If that stuff makes you better, why are we gonna do stuff here?
Because that was kind of what I was saying about the endurance. You still need all of these qualities to be your best possible product, right? Even if you only require a 5 flexibility or something like that, like to be a great dunker in this needs analysis, you don't need to spend a ton of time doing this, but there are other benefits that you get from doing a lot of this stuff. And then on top of that, in the lens of a macro cycle, it can be very, very beneficial, right? So let's say you're a year away. If you work on more of the stuff over here, this will actually pay dividends later whenever you only are doing the stuff from here to here.
That's what I was trying to get you to explain.
Yeah.
What
Because this is also on a macro level, like month to month.
I also want to make a point because of what he just said. There technically is no such thing as a bad like people always ask me what's the best plyos, what's the worst plyos, what's the best lift.
It's more time.
Yeah, it's a tool in the tool belt that you're gonna use at some point.
Yeah.
And without using it, you won't. Without doing this stuff, you're not gonna get as much out of this stuff.
This is not a graph of time. This is a graph of specificity moving rightward, right? The more rightward you go, the more rightward the exercises are. However, in training, one of the training laws is your training should go from general to specific. So if you're 12 months out from your basketball season, you can get away with swimming and biking and doing a bunch of other stuff at that time, and maybe it'll help you in 12 months. That doesn't mean it's going to directly help you now, but there are benefits to doing that will be able to layer or play a role in, you'll layer on top of basically as you go through the training year.
Cool.
All right.
All right. You all guys already know where to get training. Like the video.
THPstrength.com.
THPstrength.com.